And now the chair recognizes the former Secretary of State for the great state of Ohio, Ken Blackwell.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm honored to be a member of this commission. I want to thank you, Vice President Pence, for your leadership in this endeavor and express my gratitude to all of my colleagues for their willingness to undertake this important work. This commission and its task is to identify every threat to the integrity of the electoral process, both foreign and domestic. We are to serve the American people by enumerating the vulnerabilities of our electoral system and recommending countermeasures to protect the voting rights of the American people, as guaranteed by the Constitution. I would like to offer into the record my work of constitutional law on this issue. I co-authored this work with Ken Kukowski, a respected constitutional attorney, I must say, from Indiana. And our law review article is entitled "The Other Voting Right, Protecting Every Citizen's Vote by Safeguarding the Integrity of the Ballot Box," published by the Yale Law and Policy Review. We set forth that one way to articulate the right to vote secured by the Constitution is that every properly registered adult has the right to an undiluted vote. Each elector has the right to a vote that carries its full weight and that when it is tallied has its maximum proper effect to give that citizen a full voice in determining who among us will be entrusted with the powers of government for a term of office. As we explain in our article, this really means the Constitution secures two voting rights. The first is the one we talk about most often, the franchise, the right to cast a ballot on Election Day. Most voting laws combat abuses rooted in the past that denied Americans access to the voting booth. But there's a second right that accompanies the right to cast a ballot, and that is the right of the citizen, a citizen's legal ballot not being diluted or counseled by anyone else's illegal activity. That activity could be voter fraud by casting a ballot in more than one precinct or state. It could be a non-citizen voting, whether that non-citizen is a legal alien or an illegal alien, if they are not citizens. Then their ballots dilute the votes of American citizens. The illegal activity could be voter intimidation or voter registration fraud, or it could be foreign interference in our elections, whether from Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, or any other foreign power. This other voting right is a fundamental constitutional right against any such dilution or cancellation. And it is our commission's work and our mandate from the President of the United States to identify these threats and safeguard against them. Another topic explored in our article is that voting is perhaps the only fundamental right secured by the Constitution that is also a citizen's duty. We all have the right to the free exercise of religion or to keep and bear arms, for example, but our form of government does not impose them upon us as duties. But when it comes to voting, the Constitution enables election officials to presume that publicly spirited citizens with due concern for the course of the state and national policy would be willing to satisfy reasonable regulations and should shoulder incidental burdens in the fulfillment of their civic duty. My home state of Ohio is the jurisdiction of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit. Among the judges on that bench is Alice Batchelder. 2 years ago, in Russell versus Grimes, Judge Batchelder wrote, "Citizens cannot demand as constitutional entitlement an environment in which fulfilling this civic duty is effortless. To the contrary, Judge Batchelder added, the Constitution allows for the possibility that citizens should be expected to overcome minimum obstacles when voting. Every patriotic citizen who is a qualified elector has a solemn duty in our democratic republic to participate in public debate by casting a thoughtful, informed, and deliberate ballot on Election Day. We are a self-governing people. The machinery of democracy on Election Day is the cornerstone of how we govern ourselves. This commission's duty is to catalog every threat to that machinery and determine how to thwart each threat and thereby safeguard the integrity of the ballot box. Mr. Chairman, I ask that this article and my extended remarks be made part of the record today, today's proceedings and the work of the commission. Thank you so much, sir.
Your law review article and your extended remarks are submitted to the record without objection. And thank you, Mr. Secretary, for your opening remarks.